Hey, thanks for checking out Nuts and Bolts with Tone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about diagnostic approach, deductive thinking, and some things to look for when you're diagnosing vehicles that you wouldn't normally think about. So the question vehicle is a Hyundai Tucson. I think it's a 2014. All right. So the Hyundai Tucson comes in and they say the liftgate doesn't work, the radio doesn't work, the battery has been draining overnight. If they don't disconnect the battery, the car won't start, and I think the check engine light was on. All right. So you take all of these things. Radio doesn't work, battery going dead overnight, liftgate not working, and the check engine light. All right. So obviously we tackle the check engine light first, find out it's something completely opposite from anything else that they're talking about. It's a problem with the map sensor, the throttle body being dirty. Okay, we did a throttle body cleaning, and I'm going to do an idle relearn, and then that will all be fixed. So now, on to their other concerns. All right, so first things first, we go in, we double check all the fuses. So double check the fuses. It's got 2 radio fuses and they're both good. All right. So that, and the radio doesn't work when you try to turn it on. It doesn't do anything. Can't hear anything, nothing. And okay, fuses are good. All right. So the next logical step would be for the radio is you got to pull the radio out and make sure that the radio actually has power to the back of the radio. And well, I haven't gotten to that point because the radio isn't an issue. But so since your fuses are good though, most likely deductive thinking in that aspect is that the radio hasn't been turning off, causing the battery to go dead and therefore possibly burning itself out. That's my deductive thinking. I have no way of proving that. I know that since it's been in the shop every single night that I've had it, the vehicle starts the next day, no problem, and the radio doesn't work. So since the radio doesn't work, it still has power to it. The fuses are still plugged in. I assume that since the radio died, most likely that was the cause of the vehicle not starting. All right, so on to the lift gate not working. All right, so that's all I'm told. Lift gate doesn't work. So you go in, you double check all your fuses, make sure that everything is right. I mean, really, what you need to do is go to the wiring diagram. Okay, first step is go to the wiring diagram and find out if there are any dedicated fuses for the lift gate, for whatever. Okay, so the way you can think about this is that let's say your door locks didn't work in one door. Okay, most likely you don't have a door lock fuse for multiple doors. You have a door lock fuse. So if the door locks work on all the other doors, but not that one, well, then most likely the fuse is good, right? That's your deductive thinking. So we're going to roll on this path here. And this kind of help you how you think. So I didn't check the fuse to the lift gate because I just went right to what I'm about to tell you right now. And I'll show you a little clip of this in a minute. So basically what I did was you go back there and I had to get to the back. So I had to climb in, pull a little cover off, pop the latch, lift the lift gate up. All right. So then we know that when we operate everything, nothing works. So we go to the scan tool and we go through the scan tool. We figure out what it is that we have going on, and we have no codes associated with a lift gate not working. So then I go in, it takes me a minute. I figure out it's the smart junction box. That's the module that commands this lift gate. So you go in, and the first things first, you find whatever PIDs you can. All right, so the first step is, now I got the door open, right? So the back door is open, find the PID, rear liftgate latch open. All right, close it. It closes. Open it one more time just to make sure, open in the scan tool. All right, close it. So now we know that not only does the latch work, the switch in the latch also works. The computer also sees it and is reporting it, meaning that the wiring to the latch and the wiring from the latch are good, because most likely you have a wire going to the latch and a wire returning or whatever, okay? So we know that those are good, right? Because it's working. So now we know that the latch is correct. It operates properly. It's just not being told to open. All right, so next step. Now let's go to the handle. The handle, push the button on the handle. Handle works. It shows that you've commanded the door to open every single time. I'm going to show you that right now. Check it out. Okay, so here you can see that the tailgate switch is showing that it's closed. So now we're going to just make sure that that PID is correct and make sure it recognizes when it's open and closed. Now you can see that it's open, indicating that the switch is correct and the computer is actually seeing it, meaning that all the wiring is correct from that point. Now we're going to close it. Now, the next thing that you're going to see is this tailgate trunk release switch. Let's do this, okay? So now this is the one in the middle. So you're gonna see, this is the open and close. This showed the graph showing that it opened and closed. Now we're gonna see this trunk release right here, this middle one, and you're gonna see this go up every time I push the button. So as you can see right there, I held the button to give the nice graph. All right, and now we're gonna get out of here. This thing is commanded by a relay, and the relay is what sends the power to open the tailgate. So now we're gonna go here. So this top PID right here, it's in white. I'm going to move it down. That says tailgate trunk release. So now when I turn it on, this line right here should read. Actually, that didn't move, but the trunk popped. And now the tailgate trunk is open. So I'm going to close it. And now it's closed. I was wrong on that first PID, but... All right, so now that we looked at that, and you saw the scan tool showing that it was opening and closing, or it was, I'm sorry, the command was there to open and close the latch from the door handle. Well, since that's the case, now we even have more deductive thinking that obviously all the signals to the latch, to the handle, the switch to open it, because it's just a button on the back. It's not an actual lever or anything, it's just a button. So you push the button, it says try to open, and then off, and then open, and then off. So we know that the wiring to the switch and the wiring from the switch are correct. But now the relay says off the whole time. It never changes. Every time you command it with the switch, it doesn't change. So now we know that the switch is good, the button, the wiring from the switch, the button, to the module is good, right? Command, 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 command works and tells it every time. Then we know that the wiring from there to the latch is correct, but now, is the relay any good? Let's see. So then you go in and you command the relay. When you do that, click, the latch pops. All right. So now we know that everything that we need to operate this latch is there, except for one thing, command. Now, at this point, we don't need to go and pin test anything. We don't need to go check voltages. We don't need to even break out the power probe, because we know that all these wires are working and they're correct. So now, what do? Is it the smart junction box? Is the smart junction box bad? It's possible. I mean, I've seen modules fail similar to this. But so now let's try to, because I couldn't find a description and operation of this system. They don't really give it to you like, these are the parameters that need to be met. And so here's what I found. I did a little bit of research and I was checking it out. So when I was going through the scan tool, researching the scan tool, it took me a minute. But what I found was when I commanded the locks, I was checking all the doors on the car. And I found that the right front door does not unlock with the button. So it stays locked all the time. So that's kind of weird. So then I go over and I have the scan tool, and the scan tool shows that it's closed. So I flick it open, and then the scan tool shows open. So that's weird. Flick it closed, open, both times. Says it's open and closed every time. I'm like, okay, well, I know that the button, the inside switch works, and it's pulling the cable inside to actuate the latch, meaning that the switch in the latch is good because it's telling it it's open or closed, right? Or it's locked and unlocked. So now let's hit the unlock. Let's just put it in the unlock position. Now the computer reads unlocked. Walk back there, and now the lift gate opens. Huh, interesting. Now lock it back. Lift gate doesn't open. Unlock it. Lift gate opens. So basically what it is this vehicle will not pop the liftgate latch unless it sees all the doors are unlocked. And if any of the doors are locked, it will not pop that liftgate latch. That's just the logic and programming that's been written inside there. So now I know that the right front door lock actuator needs to be replaced, and then everything will work fine. I was able to go put the cover back on the liftgate because I know the liftgate works, latch works, switches work, everything. So now in this video, what we did was we did deductive thinking. And what you got to do with deductive thinking is you're trying to deduce the amount of things that you go and checked on the car. If you go and you start off with a power probe, checking this and checking that, and then start off with a multimeter and you're checking powers, you're checking grounds, you're doing this, you're doing this. Now we've spent an hour and we have nothing, right? So fuses are all good. We have powers, we have grounds, we have, switches work, everything, right? But we spent an hour and we have no information. We don't know anything. Now we still haven't even got to the scan tool portion of it. So we've wasted an entire hour just going there and just checking stuff, random things, without actually trying to think about it. It's not like a door lock doesn't work and you're just going to test the door lock. And then one tech tip for you is if you're testing a door lock actuator, if you're checking a lock and unlock a motor, right? This is the command to the actuator to lock and unlock. Or a window motor is the same way. Do not use your power probe to check this. Don't back probe it with a power probe. Don't do any of that. The reason you don't want to do that is because you're not going to get a reading that you're going to expect it to see. You might probe one of the pins and hit lock and it'll say 11.3 volts. But then you hit unlock and it doesn't say anything. And then you go to the other one and it might say 6.4 because you're not really seeing it properly. You're using a power probe. So what you want to do is when you're testing a window motor, when you're testing a door lock actuator, you get your actual multimeter and you put it on voltage and you back probe both pins to the door lock actuator or the window motor and you operate it and it should say 12 volts. And then if you operate it the other way, it should say negative 12 volts. Or you just switch your leads and it will say 12 volts. The reason is because that's the power in the ground. So if you have it on one side and on the other, you'll see 12 volts when it goes one way, and then you'll see it the other way where now we have the ground, now we have 12 volts, and you're going to see it both ways. So it took me years to figure that out. I used to mess around with them with power probes all the time. And I would waste my time and go around in circles and then sometimes maybe just have to guess because I wasn't seeing what I thought I should see with the power probe. So I know I preach use the power probe. In this case, don't use the power probe. Use a multimeter. So I hope you learned something in this video. I hope it helped you. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you liked this video, if you didn't, or what you think about it. If you have any tips, any pointers, or heck, if you just want to tell me about something that you lost your butt on, not doing deductive thinking. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. You get notified of all my future content. Thank you for watching the video, and also check me out on Instagram at Nuts and Bolts with Tone, Daily Life as a Mechanic. Give you all kinds of cool stuff, and I show you all the tools that you want to buy, that you need to buy, and sometimes I show you things that you don't want to buy, because I have a couple things. But for the most part, I only show you things I would recommend that you buy. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.